Awesome. Great. Okay. Welcome everybody to this slightly out of sync cosmic chat. Amalia, Natalio, and Madelaine Parker joining you for a talk about the Cancer new moon, which is happening on Monday, July 17th at 2:32 p.m. Eastern. And Madelaine and I were talking before going live, and she was sharing how this is going to be a pretty wild ride for us. There's a lot going on. This week, because we're on this kind of odd Friday versus our typical Sunday afternoon, wanted to just tune into the feeling of this new moon, the vibe of it, because Cancer is a water sign. It has to do with emotions. It connects to home, to mother. It's ruled by the moon. Cancer is a very deeply emotional sign. And, but I also want you to remember that Cancer is the glyph, or the symbol for Cancer, is a sea crab. And a crab, for those of you who have had any encounter with a crab, whether on a dinner plate or at the beach, summertime and all, that it's got this hard outer shell and the soft inside. And most Cancerians are like that. They, on the outside of them, they act all tough, but on the inside, there's really this mushy, gushy part of them that really just wants to connect with people and wants to feel like they're a part of something and feel at home and there's a fear of being hurt oftentimes. So as I was tuning into this Cancer new moon and remembering that we're coming out of this Capricorn full moon, so the full moon in Capricorn, which is the opposing sign to Cancer, happened before the new moon, which is not, I wouldn't say unusual, but it shifts the energy a little bit. It kind of turns it around. And so Capricorn, we were facing the energy out. Capricorn has to do with how you engage with others, how you appear to the world. It's your 10th house career type energy, and how you are perceived by others. Where Cancer is more the inner world. It's how you engage with your inner world and your ancestry, your lineage, all those that came before you and all those that will come after you. And so as I was really feeling into this new moon, it's what was potentially highlighted for you during the Capricorn full moon, where you might be focusing too much energy outside of yourself. Where can you maybe bring that back in and focus some attention and energy on how you truly feel about some aspect of your life? And Madelaine, I think, will be touching more on exactly what that means and the aspects that might be encouraging us to go there. And how does this translate into maybe your ancestry or your lineage or the outside world coloring your path forward? So maybe you are someone who is really interested in the esoteric. You're really interested in energy and how nature is a part, such an integral part of our lives, and how we can follow the cycles of nature. But you were raised Catholic, where there's a no to that sort of energy, where it's really about following the church. It's about following certain guidelines, certain structures within the Bible. And you really want to explore something else. Your heart and your soul are pulling you towards that. This is just an example of maybe for you to tune into what feels good to you, explore that a little bit, and put to the dogma or the way you have been programmed, or the way society has pushed their beliefs on you aside, just to explore. You may come back around to exactly where you started, but you're giving yourself that opportunity to tune into what you really feel and to what's really important to you. And I would also want to just add one other thing to this for any of the moms out there. Revisit your relationship with your mother, whether she's still here on earth or not. And if you are a mother yourself, look at how you mother your children and how that makes you feel. So the relationship you had with your mother, how did that feel for you to be the receiver of your mother's love or her approval or disapproval, whatever it may be? And then how do you show up for your children Do you show up with a similar energy as your mom did to you? How did that feel? And how does it feel as you being the mother to your own kids? So just some of the energy that was really strong as I was tuning into this Cancer new moon. And I'm going to let Madelaine roll with all of the multitude of aspects that we have with this Cancer new moon. And so let me set you up, Madelaine, so that you can share and show everybody what's going on in the sky.
Pretty interesting, I can tell you, because we've got quite a lot happening at this same moment. So that's the way astrology kind of it works, is that it takes a screenshot of, like, for instance, your birth time, your birth the minute you're born. That's the screenshot, and then that sets your whole life. So it's kind of like this new moon. It sets a screenshot for the shifts and changes that are occurring, but it'll occur through obviously a period of time.
Yeah.
So with a new moon, we're looking at brand new initiations, new beginnings in home, family. We're looking to settle. We're looking for our new, and this is going to be soul family, because we've got Pluto opposing it. So like you were saying, there is some sort of a truth that's rattling out right now. That's coming to surface. That's showing a truth, and these truths are going to dictate and determine the new beginnings. And so
I felt a lot of energy on that.
Did you? Yeah.
But truths dictate, what did you use? Truths dictating new beginnings, because I feel like that's where we've been pushed for the past, well, really the whole last 18 months with the Taurus Scorpio eclipse season, because Scorpio is all about those hidden truths, the little secrets, maybe some not so little. So now it's like, okay, let's bring them in and start to live our life from that place of our own individual truth. Okay, I love that.
And so Cancer, as you know, is the bottom of the chart. It's our foundation. It's the fourth house. It's the most important, in my opinion, energy, because it's the emotional body. It's your center, and astrology is here to pull us into our center self. Cancer represents the environment within which you can be safe to go into your inner center self. It's security. It's the Chariot card in tarot has the big armor on it. It's the pause. It's non-action. It's receiving energy. So what we're looking at is there's an intuitive response to creating a new setup, a new family security, as a result of having cleared karma that put us in the wrong situations. So now we're really facing, and a lot of people that I'm working with right now are really looking at intense karma, and it's like these things have popped back up again, and people are like, gosh, I thought I dealt with this, I thought I was over this, why is it coming back up? It's people are getting triggered into acting. You have a choice. We've talked about this before. You have a choice now. Do you continue your karmic patterns here? Do you change your karmic patterns and create more emotional security? Because if you get off the karmic wheel, you're actually creating security for yourself. You're actually creating what the Cancer energy truly is seeking, which is a permanent stability that creates safety, which then enables expansion to then grow from and creates that stable, safe center. So this is a cardinal new moon. Cardinals are initiating energies. They are new beginnings. It is the angular houses. These are the lunations that you see major shifts in. People are taking initiative. People are, not to mention we've got the nodes going into Aries, which everybody's feeling right now already, but you're going to see this is, it's 0 degrees. Oh, I have to, am I sharing?
You're not.
Not share. Okay, so there is the North Node at 0 degrees Taurus. It's wild that this new moon is happening right as the nodes shift. I mean, really, honestly, of course, everybody's chart is they're going to feel these impacts and changes stronger than others, depending on your placements in your chart. But on the whole, the entire world is going to see some kind of major power shift, power struggle shift with the powers that be, the Capricorn energies. We are, because we've got the new moon in Cancer, which is family, opposing the Capricorn, Pluto, which is, we're getting a lot of stuff coming out in the media, and a lot of corruption is becoming seen. So what do we do now? We have a new emphasis. We're waking up to a new emphasis on non-Capricorn, non-karma. How are we as a collective supporting this karmic, shall we say, unpurity, non-good of the corruption that we're seeing coming out right now? These are the truths that are coming out. So how is that shaping the psyche of our collective? What's happening is we're waking up to how we have, in some level, created or played in the game of this karma, because we're collectively clearing our karmic contribution to this problem, which is an unbalanced world, with the Pluto in Capricorn showing us the corruption that causes the unbalanced world that is not heart, that is not Cancer, which is empathic. Home, mother, nurturing is kind of the opposite, right? So what's happening is we have a collective karma which bred and aligned with the corruption that we weren't aware of, right? We're now becoming very aware of it. And now what happens is we become awakened to our part in it, because if ever there's a victim, if ever there's perpetrator victim, the victim is co-creator of that dynamic. So the collective of America and the world is waking up to our karmic patterns that somehow support the grand karma. And so
I love the way you describe that, Madelaine, because I intuit that a number of our viewers are aware of this, and a number of the viewers may have no idea what you're talking about, and this is totally new to them. And I feel like it's such a beautiful, the way you described it was such a beautiful, clear description of the energies that are occurring now. Why? And the bottom line is, if you think about any situation that might be happening in your life, like we just bring it down to a very macro level, micro level. When you look at yourself and just think of a relationship that you might have that you are in conflict with another person. If you really now look at it from the micro and you look down at that micro situation from the macro, from the bigger picture, you will likely begin to see right now how you contributed to that conflict in your life. And when you can see that, then you can remedy the situation. You know, in Vedic astrology, for every conflict or every tense energy within your experience, there is a remedy for it. There's a pathway through. And so I feel like this is such an awesome way to describe the individual struggle that somebody might have, and how that relates to the bigger picture that we all contributed to, that we're all part of now, and how we can move through it and make a difference, like remedy whatever that is in our lives. So I can't wait to hear more about that. So I just wanted to thank you for that description. It was awesome.
Well, you've segued the conversation in a great angle, because that is exactly right. We are going to, there's a medicine here, which is higher consciousness. The reason we have contributed to our own karmic cycle is created by lack of consciousness, by lack of awareness. So we're waking up, the country is becoming aware, the whole world is becoming aware now of the oppression or the powers that be not being so good for us, as it were. We fed them, we gave them that. We went, okay, you're the boss, you run everything. Oh, okay, you'll run everything. If there's a problem, you guys, the government's going to take care of that problem. Like, we just have this almost apathetic attitude to the government. Well, we're going to wake up now. Nodes moving into Aries, people are motivated and driven to create the changes, release the passiveness of Libra and the South Node, and I'm not at all saying we're going to get violent or aggressive, but that could happen. There could be some sort of, with the nodes moving to Aries, it is kind of a war energy. So I'm praying that that's not what happens. But what is happening is there is and Chiron is there too, which creates a lot of empowered energies. So we're waking up to where our power is, to where our power is as a collective against this. And I'll tell you exactly what the medicine is. I had a client come in here a couple of days ago, man, engineer, says, I can't hear God. Why don't I hear God? And I go, according to your chart, you're a busy wizzy. You like to be busy all the time. Yeah. And I said, God is in the silence. God is in the quiet. You hear him. It's a whisper. It's a quiet whisper. And you got to go still. So what we've been doing as a collective is we haven't been listening to the divine. And because he's hearing a lot of bad stuff going on, he's saying, well, there is no God. And I'm saying God is in our consciousness. We activate God through our conscious awareness of bringing in divine consciousness and awareness. And so collectively, we have lost a sense of higher consciousness. So these corruptions can breed it. So the solution, the medicine, is for us individually to become aware of our own patterns of fear-based actions, control-based, fear-based Capricorn actions, releasing to more heart, intuitive, centered energy where we're in our own center, not trying to relate to a authority in the material, but we have an authority, which is God, our center. You can call it God, or you can call it your center self, because God is in our center self. In fact, astrology, the wheel, is all about defragmenting you. In your personal chart, it shows how you've been fragmented. The chart is trying to pull you back into wholeness, the whole of who I am, the whole of who we are. So as a collective, it's playing out, and individually it's playing out. So it may play out in the form of a crisis. We could see some sort of crazy stuff happening. I'm praying not, because the nodes, Pluto is never an easy ride. Pluto is it's squaring the nose, squaring this new moon. It's going to make some kind of a big shift here. And I'm going to show you. I read the Sabian symbol. It's very interesting, because Sabian symbol is a woman or somebody who wrote channeled images for each of the degrees in each of the signs. So for Cancer, 24 to 25 degrees, listen to this. Because it's at about this lunation is 24:30, I think, right? So right in the middle. So we're going to go towards 24 to 25 degrees. A willful man is overshadowed by a descent of superpower.
Wow.
And isn't that wacko doodle? So what does that mean?
Read that one more time, Madelaine.
A willful man, our ego head, our self-will, creates karma, by the way. You're going against divine will, your soul's will. So a willful man is overshadowed. Pluto, which is the power, which is the bigger power over the ego. Pluto rules over the ego. Pluto's a soul. Is overshadowed by a descent of superior power. Interesting.
And so if we wanted to translate that for people with what you were saying, it's that basically the parts of us that are clutching onto this vision that we are like, this is the way it has to be, is now being overshadowed by the descent of, and the way I'm kind of reading this, the descent of all the powers that have put their will on us, and now making way for a higher power to emerge in order to guide us through.
Because as individuals, that's what 11 means. 11, it's the house of astrology. It's the age of Aquarius. People no longer in authority. There's no longer an authority over the people. There's no authority other than God. My own authority is my higher self, my God. And that's what 11 means. People in alignment with divine, which is your chart, your astrology chart, means you know who you are, means you know what you're here for. You're aligning to what you're here for. So everybody aligning to what they're here for, 11, 11, 11, creates a better world, because people are living their purpose, which is what you were designed to do, which is what was going to make the world better. So astrology was oppressed for many, many, many centuries or whatever. So you wouldn't find your center self, and you wouldn't know your higher mission, your higher purpose, which would fix this problem. So now, like you were saying, so the Sabian symbol is saying A willful man, which is our ego, which is what we think is our security, what we think we're supposed to do, who we think we're supposed to be with, blah, 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 rather than the soul wants, rather, this is kind of what you were saying, is going to collapse, boom, to what the soul wants, which is the superior power. And so the corruption that has supported our system is basically decaying and falling to the superior power, which is our soul, which is God. So prepare ye to collapse, prepare ye for the final power reverse. We're seeing a flipping of the power. We're going to see, yeah, we are.
That's so cool.
So it happens in a peaceful, passive way, because one of the things that's very important about the age of Aquarius, what we're moving into the age of Aquarius, is passivity, because the people become aware of the fact that the fighting was all part of corruption or the power, that we were being manipulated into fighting. So we're waking up that that's a lie. It's a lie. It doesn't matter what we all believe or think. We can all believe and think something different. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are we all getting along and co-creating together in peaceful harmony, which is 100% capable and possible with us having different opinions.
Oh gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it feels to me anyway that that's part of the human experience, is to embrace all of the different facets of all of us who are basically the physical representations of one source. That's right. And there's so many different thoughts, beliefs, opinions, experiences that are all interconnected and really come back to the same place.
Yes. And we can have different opinions, and Pluto, however, is the universal truth. There is a truth. We can all disagree or agree on a bunch of different things. Whatever your head believes or doesn't believe doesn't really matter, because the truth is the truth, and what's going to happen is going to happen. So we can just process it with divine consciousness, which is what's really seeking to ground here. This is what the shift and change is happening. This happens every 240 years. Pluto hits this point and creates a social revolution where the people step into power. They wake up and they become aware of their own powers of materialization, their powers of co-creating in the world and creating the change that we all think the government's supposed to do, and we're mad at the government for not doing it.
Yeah.
So we're stepping into a collective power. The nodes moving into Aries, this new moon in the sign of opposing Pluto. We're no longer playing the karmic cycle. We're getting off the karmic wheel, however messy that's going to look, because a lot of people get stuck in karmic loops just to keep the peace. That's why Libra in the South Node in Libra is keeping the peace. We're letting that go. We're no longer seeking to just create the peace. We're looking to fix it. Libra, initiate, make the changes, do what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. Courage, zero fear, taking initiatives, people feeling very energized for the next 18 months, motivated to go and motivated to take these new initiations. By the way, we're going to see the results of this new moon in the next year. It's going to be a big focus for the entire 6 months to a year. We're going to see this new beginning, and there's a focus, energetic, because it's going to be squaring the Aries energy. So the nodes are going to come in and square whatever Cancer placements anybody has, but also basically what it's doing is the nodes going into Aries, squaring the Cancer house, is going to make initiative to change. It gives, whenever we have a Mars square, there's a lot of action, a lot of movement, a lot of initiative. Aries is Mars, right? So and it's in a cardinal sign. So these 18 months are going to be the 18 months that we see people take very significant actions to totally and utterly shift and change their lives, and which will then play out in the macro. And we've got some help with this lunation sextiling Jupiter, kind of wide, really, because it's at Uranus. It's actually, sorry, I take that back. It's sextiling Uranus, and it's causing a square to, the Venus is about, Saturn, this is the toughie here, is the Saturn opposing Mars. which happens. And then the moon's going to come in after this full new moon and just going to come in and hit that spot. So for the couple days after the new moon, actually on the day of, because it happens at midday on July 17th, my time, around 1:40 p.m. Pacific Standard. So the moon is going to then move into meeting into this opposition with Saturn. And that'll happen about 2.5 days later. So about 3 to 4 days, we're going to see this sort of malefic energy play out. And what happens when that's happening in our lives is it's the secrets are coming out. So there's going to be reactions to it. There's going to be potentially rebellious action against the authorities with the Mars opposing Saturn. Mars is in Virgo, which is actually a really nice energy for Mars. Mars likes to be in an earth sign. It likes the attraction. Mars in air is too fast, moves too quickly, can't really create much to see. it just like explodes off air and fire. But Mars in the dirt on the ground creates traction. It's like the wheels with big spikes on it. It can actually go somewhere like that. And so with it, it's kind of in a good position. Saturn in Pisces is not so strong. It's a little bit watery and slightly more empathic and a little more, shall we say, insecure. So we've got some sort of potential rebellious energies, and it's sextiling Uranus, which is liberation, which is freedom. In fact, you know what's really interesting? What could really happen here on this new moon is information, truths that come out that really liberate us in a very powerful way, the collective. We almost feel free. On some level, we feel like, wow, like maybe some sort of big rule that's been oppressed on us suddenly is a lie, and now we're all suddenly really free. I mean, there's a really good aspect there to have these nodes sextiling Uranus, because, the new moon sextiling Uranus, because there's this information coming in, truths exposing, liberating us, empowering us, Aries, North Node, we feel very empowered, and initiating these changes that are really in the right places, because the Cancer changes are the most important, most grounded changes to make that are most stabilizing. And in tarot, when I do reads, I always get the cards always point to the emotional section of my reading, because it is the emotional world that is the most influencing of your life. And people don't know it. People think they're just running around their lives, living there, making choices, working. They don't know underneath they've got emotional stuff going on that's going. But in tarot, when you throw the cards out, you can see what's going on underneath. That's Pluto. What's going on underneath, the emotional instability, the emotional, shall we say, truth that we're hiding or not listening to in ourselves. So in these Pluto, that truth is coming out. And we find the true poem.
The one thing I find with the clients that I work with and myself too, Madelaine, is the emotions are often overshadowed by the mind, by the thought energy. So the cards, like you were talking about, same with me when working with clients, the cards, or when I look at their charts, whether it's astrology, soul contract, human design, gene keys in particular, it looks at the underlying energy, which is often, like you said, emotional, that's coming into play for people, that really is a driving force. But I think where it gets tricky is, are they truly your emotions, or are they emotions that you have inherited from your family, from your lineage?
Yeah, I think it might be both, because here's what I find. I find people don't even know what they're feeling. They don't even know what the emotion is. And then when I plug it in on the card, they go, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And we just lose connection. It's the truth, the emotions. But what happens is how we process, what kind of a mind do we put on the emotion? Because the mind is what creates a problem from the emotion or stabilizes. So that's why the tarot wants you to process your emotions the right way, which is, yes, you're feeling hurt or sad or alone or whatever your emotional world is. And you're supposed to be in this place right now so that you learn more about your soul. You're supposed to be alone right now so that you connect more with God and yourself. So there's a logical discussion going on between the two forces, head and heart. But the most important thing, the reason tarot zooms in on the emotional center so much is because that's your true attractor. That's the true, what's emotional life has a absolutely impact, and you may not even be aware of it, but that's your attraction energy, your subconscious. So we're always aligning subconscious with conscious so that we can be whole. And that's what lunations do. These are these moments in the planets come together to make you connected and connect to the inner self, the inner whole self, create wholeness. And then, especially when we have, if you look at astrology, you have Pisces in the 12th house, Aries in the first. The cycle goes around and around always. Always we're going from a cardinal energy where we initiate, we take the full journey, and we've learned, and we find we've learned a lesson. So we go to Pisces, and we then have an emotional, we take a reckoning, we go into, what do you call it? Integrating. It's an internal, we integrate. Then we start the Aries cycle brand new. So we're starting this new Aries North Node, a whole new cycle, 18 months at the same time. It's honestly, we're taking a new approach, a new cycle with a new knowledge that is higher consciousness, that is no longer supporting karma in our life or outside our world. And we're raising a consciousness that is pulling us collectively out of that mire, that muck that we've been in, that we haven't even known, you know? So we're individually and collectively clearing karma right now, big time. And it can look like a mess. Really.
Well, shall we jump in and let's see what's going on for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that was a really great foundation for the readings for each one of the 12 signs, so that people have an understanding about all these different things that are happening besides the energy of a new moon, which is planting seeds, intention, new beginnings, fresh starts. All of that is all true. And there's all these other things happening as well that are going to be pushing on us and influencing the sort of intentions and new beginnings and fresh starts that we start.
Yeah. And these new beginnings, the reason this is happening now, and Saturn, Mars is going to oppose Saturn, is these new beginnings need to be laid on very solid foundations, which is a truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Aries, you guys are going to be really, really charged up. You're going to have the nodes in your first house. You're going to take major new initiations. You're going to be fired up, ready to do something. You're going to be bold. You're going to be excited. It's great. It's good. You've got confidence. You believe in yourself. Sun in Aries is exalted. So if you have a Sun Aries, wow. Next 18 months, you're going to be a rock star. You've got the wind at your back. You're going to be letting go. Aries, here's a problem with Aries. Aries can be a little selfish and forget about their relationships, or they can be, shall we say, so unconscious of their relationships in a way. They're just focused on their thing. But the South Node in Libra, I mean, they're not going to let relationships hold them back. They're probably going to end. A lot of Aries will end karmic relationships if they're in them. And working relationships, relationships that they were being people pleasers, that they were just trying to sort of be nice and just create. And now it's almost like they don't have time for that. We've got to get going on something. And I only really want people in and around Aries that are going to be on board and are not going to slow them down. They don't have to people please or make happy or just hold on to out of karmic based issues, you know. All right. And so what shall we look at for Aries? You have Cancer over your 4th house. So this is a new moon in your career, Aries. So you're going to have this whole, and having the new moon in your 4th house, and then you're going to have, it's over 10th and 4th, which is family life versus career life, sort of, but because Cancer is over your Aries is over your 10th house, it's going to be a new beginning it can actually mean you get married because it's changing your status up there in the 10th house, but it can literally mean becoming a new beginning in a home building operation, building a home, settling a new family, building a new family. You've cleared karma because you have no, they don't have Capricorn over their 4th. Wait, Aries have, what do they have over their 4th? They have Cancer over their 4th. and they have Capricorn over their 10th. So they're really focusing on a new home, on a new environment, on a new family, mother issues coming up to be healed and cleared, new beginnings and a new emotion, because Aries are going to need a very strong, sorry, they have Cancer over their 4th. They need a very strong emotional, this is a new beginning for Aries where they create a very stable emotional world so they can go out in the world. Leave, become the person that the Aries energy was. They were born to be Aries. This is it. Yeah. If you were Aries and you were born to be an Aries, this is your time. And you're going to create a lot of stability at the same time, because if you're Aries, you ought to know, if you're Aries and you're not in full ego mind and you're not in your ego mind and you're listening to your soul, your root, your grounding is your anchor, is your 4th house, is Cancer. So Cancer is our grounding, is our 4th. The better, the more stable our emotional center is, our family life, our home world is, the better we are in the rest of the world. The better we are, the stronger we are out in the world, the more of a force we are in the world. So Aries is going to step up, taking new initiations, potentially building new families, new homes, new houses, creating a lot of stability. So go ahead.
Okay. I was like, you were on a roll there. I felt like you were just going with it. I feel like this card, this is the silk floss. And what strikes me as I'm holding this up to the camera is it's like these very drastic delineations between the pink and then the yellow of the flower. And that kind of reminds me of what you were talking about, energetically speaking, of between Cancer and Capricorn for Aries. The energies of the two. One is very like home focused, the other one is very work focused, and it's balancing the two. This activates confidence, which Aries typically don't have an issue with, but when it comes to their ability to be confident in their choices in their home life, so that they can step out into their work life in a powerful way, and to bring a little bit more of their confidence and their shininess to their emotional connections within their home, within their family. They have that ability to connect with their families, but I feel like with Aries, sometimes they can be distracted by the outer world because they want to show off. They want to show off a little bit. It's not like Leo exactly, but there is this go-getter quality to Aries. And this is a reminder for them, be comfortable in your own skin, because I think Aries, that's a big lesson for them in general, being comfortable in your own skin. This also has to do with self-expression. And sometimes this will dissolve feeling out of your element, the silk floss, and they might feel a little out of their element in their home world. That might be uncomfortable for them to dive into that. So this is a perfect time to get comfortable with that, because the stronger your family life is, like you were saying, Madelaine, the better everything else will be. It's such a foundation for all of us. I mean, I know for me personally, when my first marriage was falling apart and I was very untethered, nothing else in my life was working because I did not have any solid ground to stand on.
Yep.
And this is what we're doing.
Wreck. If we're an emotional wreck, everything outside of us is going to be a wreck.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to do you a drawing here. So here's interesting. My pen is kind of light. You can't see it, but I'm going to show you something about this new moon. This diagram should really clear it up. See, there's Mars. I tried it in red, but it wasn't very good. Okay, so I'm doing these I've been meditating on the symbols. I really love it, just because symbols are universal language. You should be able to understand a symbol. It says something whether you've been educated on it or not. Okay. Yeah. So here's what you were talking about with Aries and Mars. And this is a powerful energy because Pluto is a co-ruler. Mars and Pluto rule Scorpio. Well, Mars ruled Scorpio until we discovered Pluto. So there's co-rulership. So there's this relationship between Mars and Pluto, right? They're malefics and they're higher octave of each other. So Mars, so the image itself is the answer. It shows you the medicine. Because what happens with Mars is it gets too in the head. It's Mars rules the head. Aries rules the head. So they're very in their head. And that's strategizers, the go-getters, it's that energy. So the shadow aspect is all head. In here is your center, work from the center. You act from the center. You take aligned masculine energy, which means I'm intuitively aligned. I'm acting from my center, not my head. So this is acting from the center, boom. So what we're looking at right now is, because of these nodes squaring Pluto, which is changing our destiny to what is in our center soul truth. We're aligning with the center. And so that's the positive. We're taking positive action that's aligned with the head, the heart, not the head. So
I'm hearing people asking in I don't know where I would call this in the how do I access my center? And here's one simple technique that I do that is my go-to, is I literally put my left hand over my heart center, my right hand over my left hand. Your left hand is your feminine receiving side, the right hand is your masculine action side. But I find that when I put my left hand over my heart center to receive, and the right is protecting, the right is holding, then guess what? Then after I tune in, I'm tuning into my heart, I am calming my breathing, I'm setting an intention to allow my breath and my heart to come in sync, which is really allowing you to sink into your body, into your essence. And then asking yourself some questions, what do I need to know right now? What message do you have for me? And the you can be God, could be source, could be your higher self, could be the divine, whatever that power, that energy, that informational place is for you. And trust whatever comes through. You might think your mind's playing tricks on you, but just trust it. Then when you remove your right hand, guess what? Your right hand, and just taking your hand off, is already taking action on an energetic level. And then your right hand can rest and continue to receive. And when I do that, I find that there is this beautiful synergy that begins to happen without me having to do anything. And just playing with that and trusting whatever messages comes through is literally bringing you into your center within 60 seconds, 2 minutes tops. And the more you do it, the faster it happens.
There's Venus. Stop. Like, that's the message. No action. Receive.
Yeah.
So in astrology and tarot, the messages are always act, pause, act, pause. It's actually really pause, guide your action, pause, don't act, pause, act, don't act, pause, act. So no,
yeah.
You take because Pluto, if anybody tries to go ego, self-will right now, really strong, because remember that Sabian symbol was about the will, our ego, our self-will. If we go too heady on this and too strong-willed and rigid-minded, you're going to go against Pluto and the nodes. I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I think
why work against the energy? The reason we do these cosmic chats is to help ourselves and all of you that listen and tune in to work with the energy. So
that are very powerful.
Yes.
You can't see wind unless it moves the water in the trees, and it is powerful enough to wipe things way out of them. They can blow things off the planet, the wind.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Taurus. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, you have Cancer in your third house, Capricorn ninth. So new moon in a business. You could develop a website. You could be developing a but with this Cancer energy over your third house, there's an intuitive, in fact, what you're probably going to wake up to, because Taurans are quite intuitive. One of the things that's going to happen in this big shift that we're talking about with this Pluto shift is we're going to learn more the importance of spirituality and spiritual power in our lives and practices and connecting with the center self. And in Taurus with this, that's kind of what that is, Cancer over the third house. And third house can sometimes be your mind, it's what you think, you're processing. And so there's sort of a new beginning, a new awareness of the way that you've been thinking, a way that you've been communicating, and you're starting to align more with communicating from a center of truth. And you might start getting some intuitive ideas, or working from home, or starting a business, or working on your email, a website, or starting an online business that you can do from home that's very secure feeling for you, feel very, very safe there. But also communication opens up for you because this is a communication house. So somehow you find an emotional center in your home life that enables you to step forward into the world with some sort of ideas or writing, or it could just be that you have a new way of thinking and feeling that you're going to start approaching life from a new, more intuitive, connected to a higher self way. And you now connect to a new way of working, or a new website or idea or business, small business, that is very stabilizing, very secure, very family. Or you could get into an argument with families, and you hash out some sort of an issue that's in your family, and you hash it all out, because it's this Pluto coming out. So this arguments, things would come out that are then now cleared, and the emotional issues are now cleared. Okay, card. I want to know the card. I forget, Aries for you guys is over your 12th house. A lot of work, soul diving, more little introspective time. You could be traveling long distance country, but for the next 18 months, you're going to do some deep soul searching, and feeling very confident and very bold about it, and sort of like, I don't care if you guys mind, but I'm being alone right now. That kind of an energy. Go ahead.
Okay. So this card confused me when it came out, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure how this fits in. So when you look at this is a nectarine blossom. And when I look at the card, it feels very sweet and soft and light and lively, and it activates sweetness. And I was thinking, how does this relate to what you were saying? Because third and ninth are not really attributed to sweetness. And it also talks about feeling aggressive or uncomfortable. Well, as we think about the Cancerian energy and the Capricorn energy, if you think about the Cancerian energy, there is a sweetness to that energy. And then you were talking about the activations that we have here, where there could be some aggression, or there could be some conflict that allows us to deal with some of these things once and for all. I think this is just a reminder of, underneath that conflict, there is a sweetness. And there may be a sweetness that we don't see because perhaps we're caught in a conflict, and we need to lean into that sweetness that exists. And the message is also, you're among friends. So we may see some family members as enemies. We may see some people outside of our world as enemies, and they're really not. We're all playing a specific role for specific lessons and experiences. And you know, if we tune into and look at the energy of this really sweet flower, breathe.
Yes.
You know, finding our path through.
I'm sort of making a connection from the message to your flower, actually.
Yeah,
because a lot of Taurus having Cancer over your third house, it's possible they have family conflicts, communications, arguing. And so I think what you're saying with that is there's almost a healing of that, or maybe there's been conflict in communication, or communication problems that create miscommunications, or Taurans are maybe not the most, because Taurus tends to be grounded and not as mercurial, so they're not necessarily the best at communicating. I'm not saying that it's bad, but they tend to struggle a little bit with it. If you have Mercury Taurus, they tend to be a little bit not. Suddenly now I can't talk.
Well, they're also a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
So these stubborn issues that created conflicts in their family, they're now going to sort of soften out of. They might come apologize.
Yes. Yeah. And just maybe a change in their perspective, you know, recognizing there's more to what they were experiencing than they thought.
Which
So
then utilize their whole, puts them more into wholeness, which then puts their family more in wholeness around them, or their siblings, because third house is also siblings. So hang in, you can do it. You can do it.
All right. Gemini,
you guys have this this Cancer in your second house of financing. Interesting. And then you guys are going to have Aries over your 10th house. So I'm sorry, Gemini. Whoops, that's me. I have Aries over my 10th house. I'm so excited about that. All right. So Gemini, I know. Gemini have Cancer over their second. So it's a new beginnings in a financially related way. Maybe they invest in property, maybe they buy a new property, but also the second house can be a talent. They possess a talent or something that they own or possess, or properties or real estate or value, or Gemini wake up to their own value. They start to value, they start to take care of themselves better. They start to see that they are their temple. They start to love themselves more, treat their bodies more. And then that's going to play out better in their financing. The second house is money. Also, they could also really start to want to make money in a way that's more family oriented, that helps the family stay together. Maybe if they were always traveling, Gemini, because they did have quite a bit traveling there with Aquarius, with that, you know, the eclipse cycles were in the fixed signs. So it impacted all the fixed houses. So that would have been their traveling house. So maybe they stopped traveling and maybe they're going to put more time and energy into their family, less time into their work. Maybe they're going to cultivate more resources from a property. Maybe they start farming their land and they create food, or they hire someone, or they start leasing out their land and they're making money and creating food. Cancer can be a farming energy, by the way. A lot of people might start planting and growing their own gardens and creating their own nourishment and food from the home. It's like Cancer and Taurus is it's very abundant to have Cancer over Taurus. It's like watering the dirt, you know. So really the Gemini are waking up to an emotional stability, creating a better way to create income and finances, either using their own talents, using their property, real estate, but that creates a more harmonious family environment that's more family oriented. And Aries over their Gemini have Aries over their 11th house. So at the same time, they're going to be quite go-getters out in the world, new tribes coming in, meeting a lot of people. I just had finished the nodes in my 11th house. I met a whole bunch of new people. A whole new tribes come into my life. So new tribe, new people that are really in alignment with this new home. You almost stop making friends with people that are not around your home. Like you stop people that you have to travel to see. You start making friends with people that are just more in your environment. That kind of an energy. Gemini are going home.
Well, and I love the gardenia for Gemini. This is one of my favorite flowers. They're just so pretty. And this is the energy of embracing all aspects of yourself as beautiful, transforming your weaknesses into strengths. And I love that for Gemini too. And it's a shift in their perception. You know, Geminis are always like looking at two things, you know, they're the twins, they're dual minded. So it's shifting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's shifting your perception, but then you're beginning to embrace it. You're creating the foundation now. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm beginning to see the beauty in this situation in my life. And being able to see the shadow side, we talked about Capricorn in the 8th, the shadow side, the secretive side, as a beautiful part of the whole experience. So it's maybe integrating the dual mindedness, bringing it together.
Yeah, you know, the second house would be a very grounding energy. You're right. It's very calming, grounding, stabilizing.
Yes.
This would be a new way of earning money that is more holistic for you, more whole body, more whole self.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing your family is what you need, Gemini. They're so mercurial. They're so in their minds. They're changing their minds. I have Gemini friends. I have a lot of Gemini friends. They're always changing their minds.
Yeah, that's so true, which drives a lot of people crazy.
You can. Yeah, I'm used to it. So I'm just like, I'm water. So I just flow back and forth with them.
Well, with all the fire in my chart, it can be a bit much for me. Like, okay, stick with the plan. This is what we said we were doing.
Yeah. My MC is water Pisces. So I have to flow with, the more flow I am, like everything just flows better. It's interesting. I'm moving away from the Virgo energy, but anyway, all right, not to get distracted by all that. Anyway,
all right, Cancer.
So now we're moving on. Oh, wow, you guys, oh my gosh. So that full moon that you just had, Cancers, at 11 degrees, 18, all the Cancers I know changed their images. They all changed the way they look. They all started wearing cowboy hats, or I cut my bangs. You know, I totally like, well, I have Venus over my second house. That's another story. But Cancers are really loving on themselves right now. They're into themselves. They're getting a little more narcissistic, which is healthy. To have a little bit of narcissism is healthy, which just means I think I'm special. So Cancer have really matured into that's because what's happening. I'll explain what's happening for Cancer. They have Venus and Mars, they've had it in their second house, which means they're falling in love with their own value. They're seeing their value. That's why that card was really great for Gemini, because they have this new moon in their second house, which is about your values, how you value yourself. Do you see your worth? So Cancers have been on this journey to really see they've got Venus and Mars over their second house. So they're falling in love with themselves. They're focused on themselves, making themselves more beautiful, their environment, spending a little money, trying not to. Because we're preparing for the nodes hitting our 10th house. It's the top of our chart. It's our career. We're going to skip step career, boom, up. Things are going to go great for Cancer in their career. Very motivated. I remember the last time I had the nodes in my 10th house, I ran an art gallery with a group of friends because the nodes were in the 11th house first. Then it went to the 10th house. So this new tribe I met when the nodes were in my 11th house, we then went into a whole career project together. It went very, very well. 18 months out, I stopped it. We ran a gallery. Actually, it was more 2.5 years, but it fizzled out. And then the nodes went into the 9th house, and all I wanted to do was travel. So anyway, the point being that Cancer are going to get a nice boost in their careers. They're going to feel very good about themselves. They had these lunations. They had that full moon in the center of their chart, shifting their identity. And now they're their new beginnings, initiating home, family life. Cancer is going to start settling down. They're going to find their home, which is yay. They're shifting their living environment because they're going to have the South Node in their 4th house. So they're going to let go of a living situation, or they're going to let go of focusing or spending so much time at home, more time at work. That's what happened with me when I had my nose in the 10th house. I ran a gallery. My kids had to come to the gallery to do their homework. So it was like we left home and just kind of hung out at the gallery all the time. It was fun. That was a good kind of a change in the pace, as it were. And then you're going to let go of an emphasis on it's a dichotomy to have this new moon in the Cancer sign at the same time that we're letting go of a home thing. So it's most likely Cancers are resettling and starting new families, starting new environmental, new living situations, new relationships. They're ending. They might sell properties. What else with the new moon in your 1st house? Well, again, it's a whole new version of you, with Aries with the node stepping into your 10th house. Also, you've got Pluto opposing your 1st house. So you're becoming your authentic self. You've cleared a lot of codependency. Capricorn have been on 20 years of codependency clearing. Cancer. So we're really at the tail end of that. So Cancer are really kind of brand new people. You're a brand new person. Cleared your karma over your 7th house. You're out of it. You might be I have a lot of clients that are Cancer repeating a little bit of these karmic patterns. I'm on there going, get off the karmic wheel. You can do it. You can do it. And we're getting off that karma wheel. And whenever you clear a whole layer of karma, you raise it's like a ball goes up out of the water. You've raised your vibrations. You've come up a whole new level. So Cancer are coming up a whole new level. They're going to step out into the world as leaders now for the next. Cancers are kind of going to run things for the next 18 months, guys. And you want it that way because Cancers are awesome. They're some of the most empathic, softest, kind people. So.
And why are you saying Cancers are going to be running things?
Because they're going to have the Aries and Cancers are going to lead in the next cardinals. And again, it can be wherever you have Cancer in your chart, because for Cancer, they're going to have the nodes in their 10th house, which makes them the boss.
I see. Okay.
His
Gotcha.
10th house is the boss. And I wasn't the boss of the gallery, but I sort of led the whole thing. You're going to be leaders. You're standing forward. You're the one with the ideas, the vision, the oomph, the what do you call it? That willpower to go forward and do it. You're going to lead the group.
So I love this card for this energy. We have the navel orange blossom, and the message is it's good to be alive. It's a very inspirational, encouraging kind of energy. It's very engaging, being very engaged with life, with themselves, with the community, which I think ties into what you were saying about being leaders. What else? There's a playfulness to this as well, a little bit of a sexual energy, and sexual energy too is the creation force. It's the driver of all things. It's life-giving. So that's a beneficial energy to have when you are the ones kind of running the show, like you were describing, Madelaine. So navel orange blossom for Cancer.
Nice. And if I think about that Sabian symbol, so Cancer are now out of their self-will in relationships, and that created a power struggle in their relationships. So now the true love, the true divine, superior love is coming into their lives too, pretty much across the board. So yeah, just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there.
Little love. We're all gonna
want to hear that. Yeah. All right.
Leo.
I gotta find my chart. Where'd it go? Okay, there it goes. Okay, so Leo, awesome Leos, you guys have Aries over your 9th, so potential traveling, and then you've got Cancer Leos over your 12th. So this could be big time travel for Leo, because the 12th house is long distance travel, and then Aries over their 9th again is a travel house, or Leo become very, very passionate, very excited, very inspired about a new spirituality, about a new religion, about learning more about it, about wanting to understand they're going to want to explore. They're going to want to know what they don't know. They're going to want to look where they haven't seen, and they're going to want to, and because it's in the 12th house, they're going to go deep into their own soul. This is almost the most powerful sign right now, where that message we've been talking about being in the center. They're probably going to connect with their center soul really strong in this new moon, and really release some serious karma. Some real karmic release is going to happen for Leo. They're going to be very, very, I want to say aggressive, but that sounds a bit heavy, but I think that's a fair way to look at it. But I do think Leo are going to be massively karmically dumping some energies that they see very clearly by this very connected new moon. And they're going to make a new fresh start, and they're going to just like end a bad habit, see the spiritual cause for something, seeing and a spiritual reason for their karma. Because when I quit playing with my hair, and I did it on it was a Gemini new moon. You could quit something very, very, this new moon will help you see. So what happened was I saw what was making me play with my hair. Well, first of all, I had a really bad shampoo, and I changed my shampoo, and that really helped. But the other one was that I wasn't grounded. So I made a spiritual connection to grounding. So now I always ground. I make extra time to ground. I'm really making that connection. So there's some sort of a spiritual connection you make to what is causing you a pattern that you've wanted to change. So for Leo, I guess that's the message. 9th house, nodes in the 9th house for you guys. A lot of focus on traveling, expanding your minds, breaking out of limited thinking. Your minds are going to be blown. When I had the nodes in my 9th house is when I really did, because I was doing the gallery before that. Then it went to my 9th house. I had a total and utter spiritual awakening. Unbelievable. And by the way, when the nodes left, the South node left my force, I got divorced. That marriage ended. So letting go of relationships is a big theme for Cancer. Letting go of attachments, codependence, all of that. Go ahead.
Well, being a Leo sun myself, I can relate to this the way you were describing, and in conjunction with that, this 12th house to me is this introspection. It's really going deep within, and the introspection is leading to something new, something different. And that can be challenging, but yet there's a hopefulness to it at the same time. And the strawberry blossom, the message for the strawberry blossom is expect the best. So even though things might seem like letting go of relationships or releasing serious karma, to use your words, Madelaine, I don't know, that doesn't necessarily feel like an easy thing to do, but I
don't think new moon is necessarily easy in the 12th house, but it is fabulous who you become afterwards. Go ahead.
Exactly, which is why I feel like this card is just that little nod saying, okay, you might be we're feeling that Cancerian energy, that emotional emphasis is there. It's okay, because on the other side of that are so many blessings. So it's also about the openness to growth and the openness to opportunities. And so I feel like for the Leos out there, that's a really great reminder, because Leos are big and bold, and, you know, I feel like we draw opportunity to us. Yes, we can be loud. Yes. Hence my excitement here as I'm talking. You know, but there is that sense of, okay, letting go of some of these things or making way for something new, and opportunities will come your way. It's a growth point. Sometimes growth doesn't feel comfortable, but it's okay, because there's something beautiful on the other side of that. So strawberry blossom for Leos.
That's fabulous, because Leos are so it almost feels to me like Leos are here to get out of their, I mean, this sounds corny, but get out of your own way. But the thing that's in the Leo's way is karma. It's in all of our way. But with the 12th house is the house of karma. So it's like, it's underlined stronger. This whole theme that we're talking throughout the whole thing, put a big mark under stronger for Leo.
Oh boy.
But here's something that's really important to say to everybody, and I'm seeing one as 1111 where I am. I can't believe I'm saying this. If you're out of alignment, it's harder. And the reason it's harder is because it's hard, so it throws you into alignment. Yeah. So that's what you have to think. If you go through, so even as a collective, if we go through a crisis, it's because this has been out of alignment. So we're going to go through something that looks challenging and difficult, even in our personal life, but it's because we've been out of alignment in that area. So we're going to align. Okay. Well,
and I feel like that's a great reminder for everyone all the time, is that anytime something is feeling activating or challenging, you might be out of alignment, or it might be your perception of it is out of alignment too, because just because something feels like uncomfortable or awkward does not necessarily mean it's bad, or it's not the right thing for you. It's like your perception of it may need to shift, or you might actually need to take a different action. So you really have to, well, you don't have to do anything. What would be great is if you were able to understand the language of your own body, understand the language of your soul, so that you know what's best for you. Because Madelaine and I can tell you all day long what's happening in the cosmos, what energies we're reading, what flowers would be helpful. But when it comes down to it, you are your own guru, and you know what is best for you. Always, always, always.
Yep. So we have free will. We have free will, so we can choose to do the work, which is really important to understand what the work is, because karma 100% is in our brain. It's how we process, it's what we think. So all astrology was trying to do is to shift the way you're processing what's happening, so that you don't process it from a negative, fearful, doomsday perspective. That you see that we're making changes, we're growing, things are recycling, and that's how it looks. So that's the point of this, so that you stay whole and centered, and the more whole and centered you stay, the more aligned you're going to be with what's going on. And that's what I'm saying. You can either experience the more challenging aspect of this chart, of this transit, or you can actually stare at the chart and say, I'm going to materialize the positive aspect of this transit. And it really does, you become conscious of the positive way through it, then opens that up more for you. And even if you don't understand what the heck you're looking at. So if somebody's watching this video right now, okay, and you're catching the replay, go back to the first, I don't know, 5-7 minutes of this conversation where Madelaine has the chart up, and just take a breath, close your eyes, center yourself. We talked about that earlier too, and look at the chart and just allow it to speak to you energetically. And play with that. Just see what happens. It might be kind of fun, and share with us in the comments how that goes if you do it, because
I always say we learn from one another, and there's always some gem that somebody shares that somebody else needs to hear, and vice versa. And it's really cool and fun.
Yes, because the purpose of this is to raise the consciousness of our planet and everybody around us and ourselves. And that is when we are individually empowered to get through these things, because we have awareness.
Yeah. So cool. All right. Virgo. What's going on for them?
Virgo, you guys have Aries over your 8th. Interesting. We got joint financing, joint partnership coming for the next 18 months for you guys, with Aries over the 8th. Then we have Cancer over your 11th, brand new tribe, brand new beginnings. Could be a group project, or you join a new group, or some kind of a like institution, or like you become part of a network, and you, like, for instance, you start putting your videos on Patreon, and you start a Patreon channel, and now you get lots of money, or clients come in. But it's basically a new beginning involving your tribe, clients, new people. And with Aries over your 8th, I would say that you're going to have, well, because you're going to have the South Node in your 2nd, you're going to be letting go of one way of making money, or another. You're going to let go of some form of supporting financial support. But don't worry, you're going to get supported by the 8th house, which is other people's money, joint financing, investments, inheritance. You could refinance a property, but somehow you become, shall we say, financially, these are financial triggers, because you've got Libra in your 2nd house. You're going to really let go of something around your financing, or letting go of a contract, a commitment in a job, quitting a job, becoming more independent. Aries is an independent energy. I forgot to throw that out there. So Virgo might take some sort of more risks. 8th house is taking more financial risks, investing in things. I did that when I had the nose in my 8th house. I took a big risk. I invested in a piece of property that was more than I could afford, but I made it through. Because the 8th house, when you have planets in the 8th house, you can go into debt, but there's a secret about it. You want to go into a very logically centered, knowledgeable, you've used your logic. This is a centered debt, not a fearful debt, like an investment, a risk. It will do very, very well for you. So you're going to take initiatives to take risks in finances, and I'm guaranteeing you it will do very well. But again, stay in a logic. Jupiter is sextiling this, I keep forgetting. Uranus, which is creating liberating opportunities for us all. These things that are happening that I'm talking about are going to create liberation from areas in our life where we've been stuck. So Virgo is going to feel like their life is expanding through joint financing, through the arena of money. But now also, potentially, people could pass away, family members, or there could be things that happen in that department. But again, we're going to trigger our fears in lack of God to God, because 8th house is a devotional house. We become devoted to something that is spiritual, of nature, which again is a broad spectrum. Go ahead. Oh,
The night blooming Sirius for Virgo. And I love the message, excuse me, as it relates to what you were sharing, Madelaine, and it activates fearlessness. And the message is take the leap. And so it is taking a calculated risk, because it will pan out for you. Like, it will work out for you, but it's staying in that place of not being fearful. Just deep breath, go. It also dissolves any subconscious limitations that may hold you back. And what I connected this to was 11th house, ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. It's the remover of these obstacles that we perceive are there for us. And it totally keys into what the energy of the 11th house for Virgo is saying. Take the leap. Take the risk.
Wild that card came up.
Yeah. This one was definitely clearer than some of the other ones were a little more an indirect connection, but this one feels like a big exclamation point for Virgos. So, there is
Virgo color, green color, which I
Yeah.
thought, I'm like, wow. But also that's so interesting because honestly, I really do think that for the next 18 months, if you're Virgo rising, really investigate ways to invest your money, seek out ways to catapult your financing. Take a little bit of money and expand it to a lot of money, and you're going to be. It's really great time for Virgo for that, I think. So yeah,
Exciting.
yeah.
Okay. Now we're moving on to Libra.
Oh, you guys have a South Node in your first house, so you guys are going to be letting go of relationships that you're ending contracts, any kind of a contract that you may have made from a karmic state of mind, which would have meant from a perception of false sense of security, because Cancer is all about security and stability and safety. So Libra are very capable of, they always seek connection. They always want a connection with someone. They never want to be alone. They can never be single. Libras are the most impossible people. They can never be single, right? So Libras are going to be letting go of that. They're going to be, I'm going to let go of all the lie relationships, lie contracts that I did because I was seeking not myself. I was seeking myself through relationship. I'm relationship aligned. Libras are the most relationship aligned people. And so they're waking up to aligning more with the self, aligning to the true center, the truth. We've got that Pluto in all of this. Then Aries is going to be, the nodes are going to be in your, Libra, the nodes are going to be in your 7th house. So you're going to be very motivated, very driven for joint partnerships in projects, signing contracts. You're going to align with a very powerful relationship that turns into some kind of a contract that becomes, shall we say, it's connected to your destiny in a very powerful way. So even if it's not romance, it's the nodes are squaring. See, let me get that chart up. Let me look at what Pluto is doing to this picture. I got to look at the chart sometimes to get the message. Where did it go? I got to find it. So yeah, so for Libra, you guys are going to have the Capricorn over your 4th house. So you're letting go of false family, false home, false karmic. Libras, because they're always so sort of always wanting in a relationship, they get into these contract situations that are not foundational, emotionally founded, which is heart space founded, because Libras are very heady again. In most of my reads, when I do for Libras, I've got to turn them back to their emotional center the strongest, the most. They really seek to balance their relationships more than their center self. So now we're getting a shift for Libra. They're waking up to the part that they have Aries over their 7th house, which means they got to get out of the headspace for relationships and into the soul relationship. Pluto squaring them. Their ego is going to get rattled here. They're going to see the karmic loop relationships they're making that are not stabilizing their home environment. That's how they're creating karma in their home environment, because they have Capricorn over their 4th house, which literally means I get into relationships for karmic security. Mm. Very similar to Cancer codependent issues, but it's slightly different for Libra. It's not as codependent as it is that they get into locked contracts in situations that are not sustainable because they're not based on emotional truths. They're not based on their center authentic selves. So Libras are going to discover their authentic center self and release the fake self. They're going to be motivated now to go for the relationship because they've connected now with something that's real and true. They're going to be driven to co-manifest in a relationship because they're going to be 7th house's contract, start a business, start a project. You'd have to look at the rest of your chart to decipher the project, but it will be way better. This is the time for Libras to be in their true relationship, in their true doing, because it's going to be related to the nodes, which is mission projects with your mission true mate, twin flames type of energy. Go ahead.
Well, so the pomegranate flower for Libras What I find really interesting about this is this connects with the Monday message card that I had called Me Talks. And the Me Talks card reminded you to take care of yourself, to spend some time loving yourself and removing all of the toxic behaviors, people, relationships from your life. So this is another reminder of that. It's detoxing and re-energizing. And
My God, that isn't the South Node on your ascendant. I mean, that is, it's like South Node is releasing of toxicities and karma, and perfect.
yeah, so this card I think would be great for Libras to screenshot this, buy this flower if you can find it, connect with the energy of it, ask it for guidance and support, because you're probably going to be feeling a little bit of inner tension as you're moving through these changes, because it's not something that you're very comfortable with. You know, you're looking for that external sense of stability and security within the relationship. And this is really reminding you start with yourself first. So yeah, any support, Libras, that you can get, this might be a great one for you.
Because actually, I really liked what you just said about the comfort zone. With this North Node in general, we're leaving comfort zone. That's probably the best way to describe it. We are leaving comfort zones. And probably the person who's going to feel that the most is going to be Libra, because they've got the South Node on their ascendant now for year 18 months. So for 18 months, they're letting go of their inauthentic versions of themselves, and they're stepping into a committed partner. Remember that Mars symbol going out, because that's Aries over there. They're now going to work from the center. They're going to find their center person.
Yeah, it's a big energy. I mean, just coming through the nodal shifts myself with the Taurus Scorpio that we just went through, it rattles you on, you know, because you're hitting all those all the karmic points with when I had a Scorpio ascendant and a Taurus moon. So I was feeling it all over the place. So you're definitely, I will just warn Aries and Libra, you will feel these nodal shifts. And they might be uncomfortable. Well, they will be uncomfortable. But on the other side of it, there is this, I don't know, it's like you can breathe more deeply. You can open yourself up more widely. And there's a whole new feeling to life is the only way I can describe it, as moving through that for myself in an awareness, like a conscious awareness of what was happening.
You feel like you let go of an inauthentic version of yourself and you became more of an authentic version of yourself?
Publicly. I feel like I'm always
your authentic self, but I mean, do you feel like more connected to it, more seeing who that is, more in alignment with that, more identified with the center self? I mean, because the South Node on your ascendant would be letting go of an old version of you, like letting go of an old way you were in, like that, like how you are. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like, you know, there's like, how much do you share, especially as a Scorpio ascendant? You know, there's a lot that we hold in because we just get more comfortable with doing that. Sharing vulnerably is challenging for a Scorpio. And then you have Taurus, where we really want security. So if we have, you know, something that we're going to share vulnerably, oh my gosh, that could rock our security. There's no way we're doing that. So everything is just kind of on lockdown, except for what we want to be revealed. And so that I had a shift in, okay, opening up a little bit more, exposing more in order to have the connections that will bring the security and stability. But I didn't see it that way or experience it that way before. So, you know, Aries and Libra may be the same thing. It's like the more you tune into yourself, the less dependent you are on relationships, the more you're able to open up to a relationship that's actually aligned with yourself, because you're operating from yourself versus based on what you want out of a relationship. So there's always the beauty in it for everyone, but particularly if you have these activated in your chart. So, and actually speaking of Scorpio, I think Scorpio is up next.
You Scorpio, what are they? The Scorpio. It's an insect, right?
Yeah, the stinger.
The stinger. I'm like, you stingy folk, you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call you guys.
Well, it's like if you come in too close, we're going to sting.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing that's really powerful about the energy of Scorpio is it doesn't run it doesn't run away from the truth. It's always stays deep connected to the truth. It's the opposite of Libra. Libra runs away from the truth and wants to just be in the headspace and, you know, fantasize a little bit more about their situations that are real, whereas Scorpio are like in it for real. Like, what's real here? Like, what's the depth? It's Pluto. They're ruled by Pluto.
Yeah. Go deep.
So yeah. So you guys have Aries over your sixth house. Interesting. I'm trying to remember when I had the nose transiting my sixth house, health issues come up very strong. You're clearing health karma here. Also, how you treat yourself, how you take care of yourself, what you do on a day-to-day basis. You're going to meet some kind of, it's not the easiest transit, but it will, see, the point of the nose coming into your sixth house is to get you to straighten up and be healthy. But also you could really activate a project, a work thing, because the sixth house is a work thing. So there is new beginnings in taking good care of yourself, health, quitting things, probably quitting a lot of, because you're going to get a lot of, you're going to have the eclipses here. So you're going to be quitting stuff. This is when I quit things, when I have the south node, north node in my, well, actually, when I had the nodes in my sixth house, I became aware of some health issues, which I then fixed. And then I quit gluten because it was connected to it. So you are doing a lot of you're shifting your day-to-day habits. You're taking initiatives to change your life on a day-to-day basis for the next 18 months, new habits, spiritual practices. And again, you're going to be a little bit of a leader in this department. You're going to be, by the end of that 18 months, you're very confident about your day-to-day routine and how you're going to become, shall we say, more, because our body is our temple, and you're going to be more honoring yourself, honoring your health, honoring your day-to-day life. It could be also very busy. Sixth house can be very busy. It's a Virgo house. You could be very focused on detailed, precise, precision energies around your day-to-day routine. It's a focused energy on a day-to-day level. It's not bad. I like it. Take initiative, being brave and bold to make some big changes in your day-to-day routine. Now, this new moon is hitting your ninth house, which is a spiritual, there is a connection there because the nodes, you're going to have the south node in your 12th house. So you're going to let go of old beliefs, old karma, and then you're going to have a whole new, brand new belief in this new moon. This new moon is going to activate something that changes your life, makes you healthier. You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to love yourself more. You're going to have a spiritual awakening for the next, well, this is a 6-month cycle. So 6 months to a year, you're going to have a whole new way of seeing the world, which is going to be that you want to center yourself on your emotional health more. You're going to wake up to a new religion or a new belief or new day-to-day practices that centers on what your emotionally sort of, shall we say, beliefs that have thrown you off emotionally that are now going to, shall we say, empower you, a new awakenings. This is an awakening energy, very much. Very awake. Although Scorpio have been so much with these eclipses, I would say they've made the changes from these eclipses into now establishing a new order in their life, because sixth house is about order, establishing order, getting things organized. So it's almost like they've gone through all these 18 months of eclipses, and now they're going to go through another 18 months of stabilizing and integrating the lessons of that eclipse cycle. That would probably be another way to say it, which means their life's changed now. They've developed, they've grown, and they're becoming more healthier, and they're letting go of addictions or something. Somehow their lives become healthier at the end of this 18 months, and also more spiritually awakened around their health, being connected to their soul or their feelings or their emotional world, all of that. Is that clear message?
Totally. Yeah, I feel that for myself. And we have the pink magnolia for Scorpios, and the message is take exquisite care of yourself. So I don't think there could be any more alignment there. But the one thing I want to bring to light about this too is it encourages you to value your needs as much as everyone else's, which I feel like that connects with the nodes, with that Libra energy, and making time for yourself. Feeling complete, whole, and worthy, which could be a message for everyone, but Scorpios in particular, I feel like they need that reminder that they are.
Out of
that. Yeah. So pink magnolia for you Scorpios.
I really love how the cards sort of wrap the message up and gives it like a, now it's rounding out of the message. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sagittarius, Sagittarius.
I know. I
You
can't wait
guys
to hear
have,
about this for you, Madelaine.
yeah. So you guys have Aries over your fifth. Ooh, so very powerful time for creative projects. I know a lot of Sagittarians that are getting their teeth very, very into creative things, creative projects. So this Aries in the nodes in your, that's probably when I had my kids, actually. If I was to go back, I bet I have my kids. I should find out what their nodes are. But I have Aries in my first house. Their nodes would have been in Aries. But anyway, so basically you're taking a lot of initiative. You could have more children, creative projects, relationship, very much powerful relationship house. Acting, you could step up and become confident. And if you're an actress, Sagittarians they have their MCs in, wait, where is it? What is the Sagittarius MC? Let me get this right. The 10th house is Virgo or Libra MC. So Saggies are fired up here because they've cleared their karma in their second house, because they've had Pluto in their second house. It's releasing fears and financing and taking more creative risks and not seeking so much financial security. So they're stepping forward into creative frenzy, creative energy for the next 18 months. And then this new moon is hitting in their 8th house of Cancer. So there is potentially some sort of financial creative financing project going on for Sagittarians. They either get loaned to do it, they either are given money to do it from some sort of they could get an inheritance, or they could get a windfall from a financial investment, and they put that money into a creative project. It will absolutely be successful. It will absolutely be abundant. And it is a powerful, shall we say, I want to use the word mudra, but I don't know why, but there's something about Cancer over the 8th house with this where because the 8th house can be that karma house, but it's kind of like that Pluto house as well. So it's kind of like and Saggies have karma over their money house. So they're waking up to their true security in financing and money, which is to be of creative service, to be, in other words, to shift your priorities to being creative and expanding rather than financial security or financial planning. In other words, Sagittarians are going to play. They're going to have more fun. They're going to take more risks. They're going to go for it. They're not going to be so, shall we say, conservative about their money and not, because Sagittarius can spend too much and then they're going, so there's sort of a karmic loop in that's going to be cleared, which is going to be around a balanced, shall we say, confidence in the devotion of your work and your creative project is what's going to create your security. And so Saggies are going to be in a creative frenzy for about 18 months. And then this new moon is some sort of joint financing, bringing someone together where you join your finances. You could get married, you could get into a relationship. Those are very strong relationship houses, 8th and 4th. And 2nd, is a Venus house. So what do you got there?
So we have the red hibiscus. I mean, this is, to me, when this card came out, it was like, bam, fire, Sag. It is so fired up. And it's fired up with a fresh perspective, hope and relief. I feel like Sagittarians too, not like Capricorns with as much as they went through, but Sagittarians too have had a little bit of a rough go. And it's the sense of a new start. So like you were saying, Madelaine, a sense of a new start when it comes to creative projects, it's hope. It's the sense of, okay, I feel this momentum. I feel this fire. I feel ready to do it. And there's an emotional connection to it too. Like I feel like a sense of relief, a sense of hope. This creative project is going to be, or this partnership is going to be, partnership meaning money coming through some sort of a partner, a marital partner, that will help you, that will align you with what it is that you're looking to achieve.
In fact, I know a couple Cancers who their readings do suggest a very wealthy partner coming in very soon. So this could very well be the moment that they have their their partner coming through here,
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
very powerful relationship houses for Sagittarius. So a lot of Sagittarius, I know I've also been single for a long time. So you're clearing that lower density. See, having Capricorn over your second house is going to be self-esteem issues that have to be cleared up prior to being in your divine partnership, because you have to have total self-love before you can align with your true person. So Sagittarians are clearing lower density issues, because if you have Capricorn over your second house, there's a little bit of a connection between my finances and my wealth. Like if I'm not rich, am I respected? Am I valuable? If I'm not financially successful, does anybody respect me? So that's a karmic loop, which means I'm putting karmic energy into my earning life.
Yeah.
And so Sagis are now releasing that, saying, no, who cares what you think of me and my money? I'm releasing that. I already failed. Usually when you have karmic issues, you're going to experience the fear of that karma, and it comes true and you're fine with it. And you end up, it clears it. So now you're like, I'm going devotional. I'm throwing my energy into a creative project. God's going to have to support me. But also there's a good chance with a new moon in your eighth house that there is a financial support, some sort of financial assistant comes in, or a financial windfall. Pluto being there once, because it's over the Capricorn house, once you release whatever in the chart, you release your karma. Saturn is hard and malefic. Saturn is part of that energy, but what happens is it gives you a present. So when Pluto pulls out of this house, you're going to have a big gift, because you will have cleared that karma, which means you've lifted your vibrational frequency around that house. So you get the next step. So it's good money. This is a good money thing for yeah, I would think it's very good.
All right, Capricorn.
Speaking of, so you guys have Pluto on your, again, deep karmic issues coming back up. And I know a Capricorn who's playing out their karma because they don't take care of themselves and they drink a lot. So they're clearing some karmic health issues. They've been going through a lot of health issues. Pluto left Capricorn, went into Aquarius. It all was good. Came back. They had to go back to hospital over this health issue. Now they're going to have to meet their reckoning. They're going to have to change their habits. Capricorn, you're going to have to take you're going to see it one more time, and it's hurt. It's almost like Pluto goes out of it so you can get a break from these lessons. Then it comes back and you're like, whoa, it's really loud and clear. And you're like, that's done. So Capricorns are really wrapping up a deep karmic dumping, which is absolutely elevating them. And they have Aries. I think they have Aries over their fourth. So they're going to be very busy in the next. It's interesting because when I was married to my husband, I was more involved in my gallery stuff, but in the fourth, he had the Aries over the fourth, and we were reconstructing our house. We were working a lot in the house. So Capricorn with Aries over your fourth, you're going to be putting a lot of energy into your home situation. You're going to be renovating it, moving, restructuring entirely your living home for the next 18 months, creating a new place of living, really. Actually, probably stabilizing your home situation, very much so. For the next 18 months, being motivated to find your stable situation, and also potentially working from home. Also just being more home centered. Okay, so then that Capricorn, you're going to have this Cancers in your seventh house. So you've got a new moon in a relationship. New moon relationship, moving in together, contracting, a new contract involved with a relationship. Libra is going to be your 10th house. You may let go of a career. You may retire. You may let go of a job. You let go of contracts. Most likely letting go of careers that are not aligned with your soul, that are not, in fact, you may just start working at home. You may let go of career altogether and be like, just invest in property instead and work at home and not have a career. I know people who do that. They don't have a job. They just invest in property and they don't have to work. It could be a new contracted relationships, a marriage partnership, and then you create a new foundational home, a new family. What'd you get?
So it's interesting because I felt like this card was really tricky, and the red clover for Capricorn. I feel like this relates more towards Pluto being in Capricorn again and the impact that it's having. And it has to do with empathy and really feeling into the fierce compassion they have within themselves and for others and for what's going on in their life, and reminding themselves that they're invincible, that they've been through a lot, that they can move through this as well. And that the changes that are happening in their world, whether it's home or partnership, which are two big ones. I mean, those are big karmic areas of a person's chart. It's all okay. You know, it's all showing up for you, moving through that. Yeah, it's time to have fierce compassion for yourself amidst any chaos that you might be feeling. So yeah, red clover. So, and it's softer.
Yeah, that's an energy we can put on everybody. This is a settling down energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that actually felt like a lot, didn't it? I don't know, something with that.
Which one, the Sagittarius or the Capricorn one?
The Capricorn, yeah. Something about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, Aquarius.
All right, Aquarians, you guys, you have Capricorn in your 12th house, so you have really been, this is the last little chapter for you, where you really are going to become aware of any out of alignment mental. I work with Aquarians quite a bit, and they're wonderful, fabulous people, but it's almost like they feel so far away from their sometimes. I don't know what it is. They're very bright, interesting, and they're very open, and they love the world, but almost they don't know something deep inside of them, or some kind of and it could be about relationships, because they have Cancer is over their 6th. This is a new moon. That wouldn't be a relationship house. Why am I saying that? They have Capricorn over their 12th. So basically they're shifting out of ego up. And when I say ego, they're not very egotistical. The Aquarians are very open-minded, but when it comes down to the truth or their soul stuff, there's a little bit of a, what's the word I want to say? A controlling as to what people see about them. They tend to be sort of detached, detached energy. So they're very detached. So with this new energy, and they're very good at that, but with this new energy, the true soul comes loud out and basically it could show up in a health in the new moon in your health. So it's almost like this is a spiritual shift in your day-to-day energy, brand new beginnings in your 6th house. You're going to start taking better care of yourself again, similar energy, but with Aries Aries is going to be in your 3rd house. So, which means Libra is in your 9th. So you're letting go of old rigid beliefs, old rigid thinking. That's exactly what I'm saying. So Aquarians are opening up their minds from a soul perspective, not just a mental argumentative thing, not just from debating from the mind and da. We're getting the mind now connecting with a truth that's in the soul. We're letting go of indoctrinated false beliefs, things that people told us, and we're going in and deeper and finding what is our own true, real spiritual belief. And then they're going to have Aries, and they're going to have the nodes in their 3rd house. So they're going to open up to a more open-minded, learning more things, understanding more things, potentially starting a writing projects or internet or website or small business that is now founded on their new soul understanding of a new belief that is more true, universally true. They're going to understand a universal truth. Letting go of false knowledge, false information, and finding a truth. And then also there could be conflict between siblings, and Aries energy just always brings a little conflict and extra aggro and all that. So there may be uprises between siblings, but on the whole for Aquarians, this energy is more about a psychological shift within them than anything necessarily in the 3rd plane. But they will see it play out in the next 18 months. But the new beginnings for for you guys is in the 6th house, which is new day-to-day, new busyness, potentially new work, because it's 3rd, we got Aries there. So it's potentially a new business that makes you very busy, but also you're going to be taking care of yourself. Focus. Go ahead.
I find that Aquarians are the kind of folks who are they do their own thing and they do it their own way, but they don't necessarily, not all of them necessarily want to. Like they really do want to fit in and belong and feel like they're part of the tribe. You know, it's 11th house. It's all about the tribe. It's about your community. It's about fitting in some respects. But they also were in conflict a bit sometimes with wanting to, you know, they're pioneering new things. They have these ideas. They're ruled by Uranus. It's very, you know, higher mind and thinking so outside the box. And the date palm flower for Aquarians is the freedom, the feeling of the freedom from extremes. And the message is shift the paradigm. So shift your perspective. And a lot of what you were talking about, the balance between linear and nonlinear thinking in terms of your path forward, in terms of how your day-to-day unfolds, you know, that 6th house energy. You know, it may be like, okay, all of your group, they get up and they run 5 miles every morning, where you really don't want to start your day like that. For you, your day starts with meditation, journaling, creating something, art, you know, writing. You want to do it a different way, but you also want to be part of that group, but you've got this mind that wants to do something different. So it's really just, I think for Aquarians, it's embracing where you are now, embracing what you need, and shifting the thoughts you've had around yourself and around your day-to-day life and around how you engage with the world.
Yes, and this lunation is all about becoming whole, because it's in Cancer, so becoming in our center, going home. And for the Aquarian, I think they have to come home to their soul and not to their, you know, their mind, like you were saying. And because they can be so open-minded, there's so much information, and this is a very liberating, they are ruled by Uranus, so this, and the sextile is Uranus, so this is liberating everybody, but on some very big level, it's really liberating Aquarians to their soul's truth.
Yeah.
Not being open-minded, but not being rigid-minded, but what is the real truth of you?
Yeah, that's a big one. Big one. Okay, rounding it out with Pisces.
Pisces, Aries in your 2nd house. Awesome. You've got Saturn in your 1st and Aries in your 2nd. Oh my gosh, you guys, what is going to happen to Pisces rising? You guys are, okay, the Pisces are also the boss. They're also the boss. They got Saturn in their 1st. They're kind of stepping up to being the boss right now. And I do know a few Pisces that are. They're feeling confident. They're taking responsibilities. They're maturing quite a bit. I've seen it happening. And they're becoming leaders, and they're becoming in charge, and they're taking charge of their finances. Aries in this 2nd house. They have a talent. All Pisces are gifted artists. Aries over the 2nd house, they have confidence and boldness and believing in their talent, becoming very connected to a gift they have, knowing that it can make them a lot of money. This is fire out of let's go, let's make this money, let's be killer here. And but again, this is why this could be a very auspicious time for America, because when the nodes are squaring Pluto, which is the planet of riches as well, when we get over some sort of fear, we become more abundant and the riches open up. So this could be a very financially, very abundant period for Pisces. Now Cancer is over the 5th. So relationships, creative projects, a new creative project coming in that is going to make them boatloads of money, good money. I love how Pisces have struggled to get here. Pisces have struggled to get here. This is like great energy for Pisces. They have Capricorn over their 11th. They've done a lot of karmic clearing over friendship groups, tribes. So now they know who their true authentic people are, who their true tribe are by now. They may have gone back because Pluto went back and some issues popped up, karmic issues popped up, and I saw it happen to my son. And then now they're going to clear out. You're going to see the repeat cycle that you do that causes these karmic patterns. You're going to let them go. You've got Libra over your 8th. You're going to let go of a debt or let go of borrowing money or let go. You're no longer going to be, you're going to be earning your own money. You're not going to be supported by anybody. Pisces are going to be their mega earners right now. Very mature, very grown up. taking things into their hands, going for it. Not because Pisces is a very passive, non-doing action. It's the 12th house. It's the non-action. Aries is super duper action. So it's like, you know, kind of an extreme situation here, extreme opposite situation. But I think it's fabulous. I'm happy for this. My son is rising Pisces, and he is very much, he's on his Saturn return too. So he is very much stepping into this energy, very, very abundant right now, doing very well. And Cancer over this new moon, and a creative relationship. Pisces could get into a relationship if you're single. A friendship turns into a relationship. You meet a new friend that you take on a creative project with. In fact, my son, who is Pisces, has in the last new moon there, full moon, he did a very well paying project that he's been working with a group of friends, has started to do very well. So, you know, more of that theme for Pisces. Creative projects with relationships. You could get pregnant, have children, new moon, decide to have a child. And that's a metaphor as well. That could be a creative project, joint creative project with a friend or group or spouse, your person. So Pisces are absolutely on fire right now. Now, the Saturn on your ascendant can sometimes be a repressive, oppressive energy. So you're not necessarily a partier. You're not right now. You're really focused and serious and a little bit of a boring person for Pisces because their attention is on work. I can hardly get through to my son right now. It's like, he's like, sorry, mom, I'm in the studio or whatever. So it's like, there's your Pisces for the next 18 months.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm busy. Anyway, so Pisces are basically, this is a great time for Pisces. Now, they are super sensitive. So some of these upsets that are occurring, that could occur in the world, or whatever, the Pluto, the node squaring, and this karmic issue, they're going to be letting go because they've got Libra in their, where is Libra? In their 8th house. So they're letting go of toxic attachments to security-based financing type, maybe borrowing money or being in debt or something. And now they're letting that go and they're becoming big earners. They'll pay off a bunch of debts. And my son owes me a little bit of money, not a lot, but he'll probably pay me back. And then actually he did pay me back recently a bit too. So we're looking at this shifting in their financial situations to earners on a talent, because Pisces are talent. So it's, and the 2nd house is a possession or something you own. It could be, let's say you own a house or land, you could then farm it and you make food and you make money off that food, or you have a talent, or you were left some valuable things and you sell them, you make a lot of money off of them. But basically it's about value, or you become very confident, you wake up to your value, you believe in yourself, and you sell your own talents with pure confidence. And because we have that 5th house placement, again, this is again a very creative house. So you have a lot of creative go in this energies. You're very confident about your creative powers. You step into believing in yourself, basically. And that karma you're letting go of is the low self-esteem of what people think of you. The karma Pisces are clearing ascendant is what people think of them, not who they present on the outside world as being a source of their security, thinking that that's what makes them secure. And it's not. It's being your true authentic self in your true center that makes you secure in this world. And that's Cancer. So Cancer, so they're going to become, they're going to align with their true authentic relationships, creative projects, and they're going to have a lot of fire, get up and go to make a lot of money. So if you know Pisces right now, make friends with them because they're going to be rich.
That's funny. So
I'm kidding.
The card for Pisces, the flower, is the rhododendron. Activates compassion, and the message is be kind to yourself. And this feels so connected to the Cancerian energy of this moon. You know, I feel like kind of what you were saying too, how Pisces can be hard on themselves, and it can be a a self-deprecating sort of sign in a way. And this magnifies understanding and compassion for yourself. It magnifies motherly love, warmth, and protection. So Pisces may be leaning into their moms a bit during this moon cycle, that Cancerian moon mother connection. And it also magnifies. Say that one more time.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
What
I'm
what
trying to
did
get
you
hold
say?
of my son. You said they're going to pay attention to mom, and I said I've been trying to call my son all week.
Well, maybe he'll call you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I know. Hey, trust me, I have the same issue with my Aries son in particular. He's a tough one to nail down. But yeah, so the rhododendron, I think, it feels like a really beautiful card for Pisces. And and call your mom. Aries too. Call your mom.
That was perfect for Pisces. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we've definitely got some wild energy, wild experiences for the next couple of weeks. All manageable, all doable, all for the highest and best good of all, as always. But just, I would highly recommend that everyone go back and rewatch this for your particular signs, your sun, your moon, and your rising. Reach out to Madelaine or myself if you're looking for a little bit more guidance or support. Understand your chart better, want to look at some other aspects or some other lenses of yourself besides astrology as well. So there's all different ways that you can be supported during this time. And, as we talk more about the nodal shifts, maybe we'll do a special live on that, Madelaine. That might be kind of fun.
maybe people can call in and ask questions about their.
Yeah, we'll advertise that far in advance so you can tune in live, and maybe we'll do it on I don't know. We'll figure out the time. We'll keep you guys posted on that in the next couple of months. But yeah, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for supporting us. Comment, like, subscribe, both here and on Madelaine's channel. And if you're on Madelaine's channel watching this, pop over to mine. We appreciate any love that goes our way.
Remember to give a like, because a lot of people come up to go, I love your video. And I'm like, I have like 5 or 6 people, but they don't, I forget like these too. But anyway, if you remember it, it'd be great.
It would be great. It would be great because we're doing this to bring awareness to people and to allow them to understand what's happening in the cosmos and how it's affecting them. And we would love to be able to reach more people to be able to help on their journey and support them and facilitate any sort of ease and grace in the process. So yes, we do it with love for everyone.
Yes, good luck everybody through these rattling, chaotic shifts and changes. Just stay centered, grounded, and try not to repeat karma.
Yes, you got it. Hold your own hand through it. You got this. You got this. All right.
All right. Lots of
we will see you all in 2 weeks. I think we're back on our regularly scheduled programming on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, but stay tuned. Sorry, Madelaine.
What day were we going to do that? What's the date? Just remember. What moon? I mean, what's the lunation? Is it?
It is the full moon in Leo.
No. All right.
Which actually is falling on my birthday. So that's very exciting. Very exciting. Yes. We'll be talking more about that. So all right, we are signing off for now. Thank you again, everyone. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.